Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. Right. Shout out to everybody who is listening. Morning. Well, it's more. Well, yeah. It's a nice, lovely, not raining morning here in South Florida for now. Right. For now. It could be 6:45 in South Florida and it's beautiful weather, and then by 6:50 you got like tropical storm rains. Right. Okay. The ultimate cash grab. Right. So many of you heard Mr. Z. Stay away from this. We'll call it brick gate or brick to the face or brick face conversation. I said I wasn't going to cover it, although I am using this um event. Right. She's a brick house. I am using this event to have a larger conversation. So we still aren't necessarily covering it, although we are using it to have a larger conversation about black women being used, played, or deservingly being played by other black women, by non-black folks, and by white society, by dominant white society, because they want to hear the black man is the boogeyman monster stories. And now everybody has their number and everyone knows. Okay. Now, you know, I'm still a bit apprehensive on covering this, right? As I said before, and if all my subscribers that heard me, the reason why I wasn't going to cover this story is because something wasn't right. Something didn't feel right about the story, right? Something about the story didn't add up, right? It wasn't sitting right with Mr. Z's spirit. I I'm not a private, detective. I'm not an investigator. I'm not any of that, right? So it's not from any type of experience necessarily. It's just something about the story didn't add up, right? And I just left it there, and I wanted to wait to see how the story developed before I made any commentary. That's why I'm saying I'm still not making any commentary necessarily, because it still doesn't seem that we have enough information to necessarily comment on this story. That's why we're speaking around it. Right? So what do I keep on saying? For all of my day ones, we already know, right? Y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. All of my day ones. Well, one thing that Mr. Z says is train tracks, train tracks, train tracks. Well, there's that. And that I literally said that because we went over the train tracks. Okay. The other thing that Mr. Z says is the internet will expose us all. Okay. Put a pin in that. Put a pin in that. Okay. Um, you know, disclaimer. This story is still developing. Right? We don't know everything we need to know, but it's looking, at least for right now, this story is looking like a hoax for money. There, Mr. Z said it. This story is looking like a hoax for some money, right? From what we understand, the police and the news media are attempting to get in contact with the young lady, right? Her name is Ro, if I'm not mistaken, RHO, right? And they cannot. The local news in Houston is starting to distance themselves from the story. Uh-oh. The local news in Houston is starting to distance themselves from the story. Another content creator, Yanni, is also putting a disclaimer out there. Yeah, this is gonna look good for black men. It's not gonna look so good for black women, right? Dear black women, this is not a good look, right? We're gonna mention why this is not a good look in a minute. This is not a good look, right? Dear black women, everyone has your number, right? Everyone knows all they have to do is speak ill of black men and you'll pay them for it, right? Everyone knows that all you have to do is speak ill of black men Any random person, a black man, a black woman, white racist society, right? Any random non-black person, a random Latino, Latina, speak ill of a black man, speak ill of a black entertainer, speak ill of black men in general, imply that black women are better than black men, are doing better than black men, black women are the credit to the race, sounding like we just fell right back in Jim Crow, right? Hattie McDaniels type talk, right? Black women are the credit to the race, black men are just here, being complete menaces, being a complete menace to society, right? And if you frame the conversation about black men and black women in that way, there are way too many black women that will be willing to pay you good money. If you don't believe me, go ask Yanni, you and Chrissy, yikes, and Paris, uh-oh, and Cynthia G, uh-oh, right? Go ask Princella, oops, right? Go ask Lexus Exodus. Mr. Z, could you not get tongue-tied? We're being serious, right? Your number has been called. People know, right? The young lady Rowe knows, right? And we understand she's not even ADOS FBA. Doesn't matter, right? She's playing black women. And the fact that she's either the children of immigrants or an immigrant herself, and she's using ADOS internal issues against ADOS men and women, once again, using negative stereotypes about how ADOS men, black men, will just watch as a black woman gets harmed or encourage a black woman to get harmed. She's using those type of stereotypes, and she's also using the fact that black women want to hear these stories, ADOS FBA. They want to hear these stories to further justify why they speak about black men the way they do. She's using that also against black women. So she's using and playing both black men and black women. This is the part of being the child of black immigrants that Mr. Z does not side with. Knowing the dynamics, the internal issues of ADOS FBA, and then playing both black men and black women. Well, using the stereotypes and playing black women. There, we'll say it like that. Right? So there's that. Right? The reason why we're covering this story is because it's become extremely evident that even in the black community, talking about black men as if they're monsters is lucrative. It's lucrative to talk about black men like they're monsters. And other black women, of course, have caught on. Of course they have. Of course they have. Right? White society knows this. Non-black people know this. Other black women know this. Right? That it's lucrative to talk ill of black men in the black community and speak about it and frame it. This is the important part. Frame the conversation as if you're uplifting black women, as if you're doing black women a favor, as if you're saying, as I said before, that black women are the credit to the race and black men are a nuisance. They're the ones holding the black community down. They're the anchor on black women's leg, right? Or better yet, around black women's neck, right? What does Vincent LeBeau say? Peak with peak, right? Black women are the peak of the black race in America. And if you can frame the conversation about black men and black women in that way, if you can frame the conversation in that way, as if it's black women empowerment to insult black men by omission, when you speak so highly of black women in a vacuum, which our society is really, really good at, and black women love it, right? But if you can frame the conversation as black women uplift, black women will write checks for you, right? Confirmation bias, everyone. They will pay you for confirmation bias. And this is not exclusively a black woman thing. This is not exclusively a black people thing. This is not exclusively an American thing. People will write you checks for confirmation bias, right? So she pulled the black men don't protect black women card, right? And you ladies want to hear that message so badly that she got nearly 40, and let's just say $40,000 from the black community. I didn't just say black women. We're going to get to it. She got $40,000 from the black community because all she had to do was reiterate an old, tired trope and stereotype about how black men don't protect black women, right? Now, Mr. Z, why did you mention the black community instead of just black women? Because all of you either simp or pretending to be simp. I see you, Willie D. You simp or pretending to be simp ass Negroes, where are you now? Once again, assuming that what we're starting to see right now that's bubbling up to the surface is that this was all a hoax for money. Right? Where are all of you now? Let's pause right here because Mr. Z got to go on a lightweight rant. You niggas act like y'all wasn't in a dating scene. You niggas act like y'all didn't get lied on. All of a sudden, y'all are rich and famous, and anything black women say, it's above board when it comes to them and black men. All of y'all are pandering. So who's looking out for the boys and men if all the men of prominence and note are either quiet when they know black women are lying, or they still back black women? Right? What happened? Who's protecting the image of black men? Yeah, y'all attempt to protect the image of black men from non-black people, but y'all are mum's the word and quiet when black women go on a tear. Actually, correction, Mr. Z. They encourage it. Artists, you're soft. Dr. Richie, you should know better than that. Uh-oh. Just say you're scared. Okay, so what if they were? Now what? All the old school Negroes are going to have to come up with better insults and stereotypes. All that, you soft, right? Y'all be-made Negroes, all of that doesn't work on these young boys no more. Under the age of 35, all those insults, y'all got to come up with new insults. Y'all got to come up with new ways of checking men's masculinity because all of that don't work anymore. You soft, you a pushover, or you scared of him. Negroes under 30, Negroes under 35 would be like, yeah, and? Or no, I'm not, but I ain't going to prove to you that I'm not. All that reverse psychology stuff, all that what type of man, y'all forgot what era we living in? We live in the era, the rainbow era, the tease era, the cross-dressing era. Right? And you think you're going to scare young men with all these weirdo insults that worked on y'all when y'all were children? That stuff don't work anymore. People that came up in the 70s and 80s that were so easily, had their manhood insulted so easily, think that they can turn around and do it to these young boys. These young boys don't hear nothing y'all saying. Steve Harvey, it's a man's job. Them young boys don't hear nothing y'all saying because you raised the most spoiled, entitled generation of women ever. You raised the mean girls. You raised the snarky a-holes, I gotta have the last word ass women. And you think that we're gonna listen to you about your daughters, right? Thank you, Indigo. That's what. Hey, if I gotta give white men one thing, the cool story, bro, is one of the best thing your average frat bro came up with. Your average frat bro, that cool story, bro, gotta be the most dismissive, funny statement ever, right? Right? Cool story, bro. It gotta be the. I promise you, you gotta look at some of the old heads like, yeah, cool story, bro. Right? Yeah. Y'all raised some of the most entitled a-holes the world has ever known. Mean, snarky, selfish, self-centered women ever. And then turn around and try to chastise the men for not stepping up and what? Turning your a-hole spoiled brat adult daughter into a wife? Get out of here. No, your wife will, excuse me, your daughter, your baby wife, your daughter will stay in your house until she dies. Right? Or because y'all think y'all slick, your daughter's going to stay in your wallet until she dies. What does Mr. Z mean by that? All these people think they slick by funding their daughters and telling us how their sons are still at home at 27 and 32. Yeah, your daughter's not physically in the house, but she's still in your wallet, though. You still paying bills, though. You still subsidizing her, though. Uh-oh. Y'all don't want to talk about that part. Yeah, your son is physically in your home. How many of y'all still paying car insurance and car note and cell phone bill for your daughters? Uh-huh. What happened? Still got her, right, on some type of allowance program at 35. God damn, Mr. Z. At 30. At 28. Right? Yeah, there's that part. Yeah, my 28-year-old son, he still don't know how to wipe his own ass. You're funding your daughter. Both of the children. It's just one is at home. That also plays into the fact that a lot of boomers just don't realize what time it's in. You may not be in the single family home era anymore. $450,000 new homes. Oh wait, y'all already know that because you're putting the down payment down on your child's first home. Your adult children, your 32-year-old that finally got enough together to maybe be able to afford a mortgage, but you still got to help put that $50,000 down. You still have to put that $45,000 down. Uh-oh. Right? How does this tie into the story? Well, you raise these entitled brats that end up lying on black men for some money. And other black women who want to hear that story so bad, right? They want to hear how their brothers were spoiled and now their brothers don't know how to act and their brothers don't know how to protect women and girls. Shout out to you, Jesse Woke, right? And how their mothers raise a bunch of entitled brat brothers, right? They donate and sign checks and give money to the liars because they too oftentimes are liars, right? So once again, all you simp ass or pretending to be, that's even worse. All you old heads, all you soft men, y'all didn't protect her, y'all didn't come to her defense. I don't care if she's known for this type of stuff. I don't care if she's a prankster. It's our job to give our lives for a-hole, mean, snarky, condescending women. It's our job. Yeah, that's it. It's our job to give our life for women that wouldn't pee on us if we were on fire. It's our job as men. Yeah. That's why the black community is breaking up now. Y'all don't know what your job is. It's your job to do for the women who just told you on a clip that same-sex love is the preferred love. It's our job to protect those type of women. The if you see another woman kiss her type of women. You know, the same-sex loving women, especially the ones that's condescending and insulting to men. It's our job to do for those women. Yeah, that's it. You know it's your job to have a wife and some kids? Ain't that right, Steve Harvey? With women like this, huh? Okay, yeah, that's it. Right? Right? It's our job. Y'all just trying to get your daughters out of your wallets. We're not paying. Right? You raise that a-hole daughter. We're not paying. Right? So, continuing. This is literally what white society has been doing since the inception of this country, especially during the Jim Crow era. Fabricate a story of some random predator black man and use that story to justify everything from making certain drugs illegal to hunting and killing Negroes. Dear Miss Rowe, you just did that. Dear Miss Rowe, you just did that. And other black women, just like white racist society of old, signed up for it whether they believed it or not. The ones that didn't believe it were real quiet. And they're like, something don't seem right, but I never am going to pass up on an opportunity to talk crap about black men, so I'll just be quiet. And then the other ones was like, yeah, black men never protect us. They never do right by us. Yeah, they'll watch us get stomped out by a man. As a matter of fact, they'll jump in and help stomp us out for no reason, even if they don't know us, because they despise us that much. Dear black women, we're not you. Uh-oh. Right? So let me say that again. This is literally what white society has been doing since the inception of this country, especially during the Jim Crow era. Fabricate a story of some random predator black man and use that story to justify everything from making certain drugs illegal to hunting Negroes. Right? This is why I didn't cover the story before. Like I said, Mr. Z is not no private investigator. I don't know anything about anything, but it just didn't sit right on my spirit, and I knew something's not adding up. And I don't know enough. Let me fall back. Let me let certain things, and still to right now, I'm saying from what we can see that's bubbling up from to the surface at the onset, it's looking real shaky and real shady. The young lady isn't cooperating with the police. The news media is finding it difficult to get in contact with her. Something's not right. And she got $40,000 from all of you who just wanted to do the whole black men are monsters and they don't protect black women. As a matter of fact, they attack black women, or they stand by and watch black women get attacked. Yeah. Right. Uh-oh. From Carly Russell to now this young lady named Roe, black women are using and or playing other black women with these black men are monsters that prey on black women type stories. And Michael Ross, thank you for the super sticker. Thank you for the super sticker. And y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Right? Once again, from Carly Russell to now this young lady named Roe, black women are using and or playing other black women with these type of black men are monsters and they're preying on other black women stories. Right? Y'all just be mindful. Hmm. Time after time, and it becomes a trope. Dear Black, you are becoming the woman that cried wolf. You're becoming the girl that cried wolf. We understand that there are wayward black men just like there are wayward everyone else. And what's ending up happening is y'all want so badly. Either y'all are broke as a joke. Well, let me take that back because all black women are ballers and they doing swell. It's the black men that are messing up, right? Either y'all are broke as a joke. You don't know where your next meal is gonna come from. Either you're in the struggle, but y'all are not doing well financially. And so the game is to what? Start lying on black men so that somebody could give you a couple of dollars? That's the game, right? That's the game. Samuel Norton, that was hysterical. And Samuel says, looking shadier than a pair of Ray-Bans. Hysterical, right? So we're just straight up lying on black men now. And the rest of the black community is primed once again for the black men are monster stories. The black community loves a black man stood by and watch a black woman get hit by a 2x4, get shot, get rolled over by a car, and just said, "Yeah, she deserves it." Yeah, that's it. Namely, black men of excuse me, namely black women, of course, love them a good story like that, right? And other black women, once again, white society and non-black folks, everyone knows this now. And yes, they're going to play you because you have made it insanely evident. Everyone knows. You want to get money out of black women, talk crap about black men, right? You want to get money out of black women, and this is not no little Kevin Samuels bringing black women on and then we watch all the holes in their arguments. And essentially, they were looking for walking wallets and overglorified guard dogs. This is not the same thing. It is very possible that this young lady staged this whole thing and she didn't expect for the story to get this big, where in such a short amount of time, we figured out it was a hoax. It is very possible. Once again, we don't know yet. So don't hold your breath, right? But what we can see, this is looking like a hoax. This is looking like a cash grab. And yes, dear black community, you are integrated. Look at that. You too can make money off of playing and using black men's image as the big bad boogeyman. That is no longer exclusively a white racist thing in America. That is no longer just a non-black thing in America. Yes, you too, black community, can engage in the black man is a monster. Now give me some money. Ain't that right, Miss Rose? Excuse me. hmm Yes, Yanni, you have to take this public L. And yeah, Yanni is one of the people that's breaking the story because if y'all don't know, Real Talk with Yanni does live in Houston, and so she's closer to the epicenter of this event or lack thereof event. And so she was digging around, calling around, trying to figure out what happened, and she started putting two and two together. And now she's saying from now on, pretty much she's not gonna blow the whistle for any of these stories unless you have a police report. What you thought, Yanni? I keep on saying it to y'all. Y'all help to seed the ground that these other people take advantage of, and when they throw it in your face, Now y'all want to start copping please and moonwalking. Chrissy, Yanni, Paris, Paris, you helped to create this with all your femicide talk. And lurking over every corner is some 60-year-old black man preying on a 12, 13, 14-year-old black girl. Those type of stories help to create this environment. Right? Y'all help to create this environment. Yanni, all of you, y'all better look out for these black men because you know they be putting pills in women's drink. Y'all better look out for these black men because you know they be doing this negative, and y'all better look out for these black men because they be exactly Trell. Believe all women's exactly right. Y'all help to create this environment, and then when it flies in your face, now you don't know what to do. What you thought? Y'all can't wait to cover a story of a black man that harmed a black woman. Y'all can't wait. Y'all can't wait to cover a story of a black man that just stood by and watched a black woman get abused. Meanwhile, how many morgues have black men that looked out for random black woman and she either harmed him trying to save her boyfriend or the boyfriend or the husband killed him? Y'all don't say no. Oh, wait, I forgot. It's a black man's job to give his life up for some random black woman who's going to go back to the man after the fact. I forgot. The black man's life doesn't matter. It's the black woman's life. Right? And Tanya TKO got the unmitigated gall to come out her mouth on some, yeah, if we just had a feminine world order, then everything would be better because, it got to be the women's sensibilities that lead the world. Right after pretty much saying that women will lie to you and they group think and they do this and they do shaming language and they alienate you and isolate you from the group. Right after saying that. Right? Huh. This young lady thought she could get away with this because why wouldn't she think she could get away with this? Why wouldn't she? Whether she's ADOS or not, why wouldn't she? Everyone knows that all you have to do, dear black women, you have been yelling on the internet for over a decade on a blowhorn that you're willing to pay for people to come up with stories of wayward black males, whether that's black boys or black men. A black man jumps in a white or Latina or Asian girl or woman's DMs. Y'all want to know? Let me get that story. I'm gonna talk crap about black men, right? A black man spanks his daughter too hard. Let me get that story. Let me talk about child abuse. A black man puts some bass in his voice when talking to his wife. Let me get that story. Let me talk about how black men in DV, right? A black man misses a dance recital for his daughter. Let me talk about how black men don't be showing up for black girls, but he would go to a basketball game for his son, right? You let the entire world know. You've been yelling it from the mountaintops. So of course they're going to take advantage. Y'all learned nothing from the Veganator story. You learned nothing. So now, just like I covered the stories of all those younger, under the age of 40, white scammers that's scamming pretty much their own parents out of millions, if not hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. I'm covering this. You have that's you Yanni, you Paris, you Cynthia G, you Chrissy. You have essentially said to your ideological children that if they could come up with a convincing enough story about how black men ain't ish, that you'll cover it and you'll send money their way. You'll send other women to fund them. And no, you didn't have to say it verbatim the way Z just said it. Your energy, your message has been that. And yes, now your ideological children are playing your ass. Yeah, they're gonna come up with all the woe is me, but a black man insulted my skin tone. Then you dig deep and you're like, actually, that didn't happen. He just showed your light skinned friend more attention. The man, wait, we got it on camera. The man ain't never say nothing to you. Yeah, yes, Chrissy, they're gonna come up with woe is me stories. That's straight up fabrications. Why wouldn't they? Because women like you for what? Damn, they're a better part of a decade have been telling them to do it. Yes, you Yanni. Yes, you Paris. Yes, you Cynthia G. Why wouldn't they? Right? And Detroit says, and thank you for the super chat. Umar Johnson has convinced black women to arm themselves with Second Amendment target at black men. Don't he bad or innocent? They will shoot at will black men for not protecting them. Of course. We have created this environment. We refuse to go back and say, okay, maybe we raised a couple of generations of spoiled brat, entitled, snarky, mean girl black women. Maybe we went too far with the black man is the problem in the black community type talk. Maybe we went too far with it. It's possible we might have went, we might have crossed the line, and now our daughters are playing us and putting our sons' lives and even our lives as older black men, putting our lives in danger, because white society will love to take us out because a black woman came up with my husband did this to me, go find him. Right? We already know about the stories of like the lady, black woman, married, went to a Dollar General or one of these dollar stores, got into a back and forth with the security about a mask, and then sent her husband and her son off in there. They end up, deleting the man, and now both of them are in prison because she couldn't control her emotions and they couldn't control themselves, and they believed her. But Dr. Umar Johnson wants us to do the same, right? Dr. Richie wants us to do the same, right? Willie D wants us to do the same, right? I really want to say Boyce Watkins, but I don't know if he said anything. I really want to throw his name in there because he looked like the type. Sorry, Boyce. I know you. From what I don't know if you innocent, but I really want to throw your name in there because I feel like I know what side you would lean on. Boyce is like, I'm an innocent bystander. No, you're not. Right? So yeah, so Dr. Umar Johnson is now talking about them and their Second Amendment rights. You imagine the black community refuses to acknowledge and admit that they raised so many spoiled brat, lying ass black women that really want to be upper middle class white women. They refuse to come to terms with it so bad that they would rather tell their daughters to go get guns and potentially murder their sons. You imagine? We refuse to acknowledge that our daughters have been doing the handiwork for white racist society for the past, I don't know, at least 5 decades, that instead of admitting that we've done that, we rather double and triple and quadruple down on black men being the problem, the isolated in a vacuum problem in the black community. Wow. Wow. Right. And once again, Detroit, thank you for the super chat. Y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. You imagine? Yes, that's the environment we live in currently. Yes, sir. Yep, that's the environment we live in. So all a person has to do is say, a black man harmed me. Excuse me. Specifically, only a black woman could get away with this way. This particular way, only a black woman could pull this. A white woman wouldn't be able to pull this way because we would be more skeptical. A white man couldn't pull this. An Asian or Latina woman couldn't pull this. A Latino man couldn't pull this. An Asian man or woman couldn't pull this. Only a black woman could pull a stunt like this, and the black community just says, yeah, we're going left. She said we're going left, we're going left. Uh-huh. Now what? Only a black woman could pull a stunt like this. No one else, not another black man, no one else in our society could pull a stunt like this on a black man. No one. This is reserved for either a black child or a black woman. And our society, the black community, has been telling black women they could get away with this, so why wouldn't she? Why wouldn't Roe think that she could do this? And she got $40,000 out the deal. If this is true, once again, we don't know yet. The story is still developing. The story is still developing. Let's wait and see. But the police can't get in contact with her, and the news media has pretty much dropped the story. They couldn't get in contact with her. That's as of last night. Now the story's still developing. Let's see what it looks like later on tonight or tomorrow. Mr. Z will keep his ears to the streets, and let's see. But as of right now, that's why all of you that are subscribed to me, y'all saw me being hesitant to cover this story because it's just something's not right. All these brothers stood around. Let me get this right. The Latino dude that the girl slapped on the train. Them brothers tried to. That dude was the biggest person on that cart, and them brothers got on him, and they lost. By the way, if y'all pay attention to that clip, the dude that jumped in lost. So y'all telling me that there were more black men around and they just watched this brother hit this woman over the head with a brick for saying no? Huh. Mr. Z knew something wasn't right. I didn't know what wasn't right, but something wasn't right. And I'm a nobody. I haven't been in no one's police station. I haven't filed no paperwork. There's something wasn't right. Thank you, Trell. Yeah, I remember the story. And Trell says white women just killed their kids and say that a black man did it so no one would find out that she went bankrupt playing bingo. And that's all it is. America knows, hey, just say a black man did it. And black women are engaging in that too now, is what we're saying. There's stories of white guys skateboarding in a garage he shouldn't be skateboarding in. He harms himself and then blames it on some random black guy when they play back the footage. Wait a minute, you was in the garage by yourself. Self-inflicted injury. The story y'all remember a few years ago of the young lady that didn't want to get married to her young lady, I think 19, 20, didn't want to get married to her white fiance, then lied and said she was raped by some Negroes. There's so many of these stories in America. No one gets false accusations like black men in America. No one. No one even comes close. No one. The Asian woman who white boyfriend was beating on her, and this is the during the era of the quote unquote knockout game. Come to find out, her boyfriend was beating on her. She said she walked in front of a club and some random black guy punched her and said knockout. Then the boyfriend's friend bust her out and said and pretty much told everyone, okay, yeah, she's lying. That dude be abusing her. He be hitting on her. Everyone in America know all you got to do is come up with some random a black man did it story, right? That's all you have to do. And yes, so apparently black women are engaging in that also. So once again, yes, Yanni, this is a pub. If the story is looking the way you think it looks and the way Mr. Z think it looks, yeah, Yanni, you got to hold that public L. Yeah, and it does make sense. If you didn't file a police report, don't come online telling us about some boogeyman, some black man that randomly did something to you. But it should have made sense before you got caught this way. Before you put all that energy out there, it sh- that should have been implemented from the beginning. Especially when women like you, Yanni, women like Chrissy, definitely women like Paris have put that energy out there of black men being predators for any black woman, any black girl. You, definitely Paris, y'all put that femicide energy out there. So of course, why wouldn't black women and girls take advantage of that? Why wouldn't they take why wouldn't they take advantage of that? Why not? What's going on, Gold P? Pause for the cause. Y'all already know. Every time Gold P is in the building, I just have to remind you, Gold Professor was the first one to suggest that Mr. Z start his channel. And it did take Z a couple months, but I did start my channel. So you send all your hate mail to Gold P, right? Shout out to Gold Professor, right? And Detroit said there's so many stories where black men are being accused. A lot. Too many stories, brother. Too many stories. And Indigo Flow says, and thank you for the super chat, Indigo. Anti-black misandry has always been lucrative. Indeed. Indeed. Right? So now that it's looking like, at least looking possibly like Miss Rowe made all of this up and came out the deal $40,000 richer. Now what, Yanni? Now what, Paris? Now what, Chrissy? Even Paris, how many times Paris had to go back on her word? Oh God, this little girl is missing, and the last time she was seen, some black man was looking over a corner. 3 days later, oh, she was found safe. Oh no, she was hiding at her grandma's house, or she was at her aunt's house, or she was with some young boy. She's 14 years old. She was at some 17-year-old boy's house. Right? But they wanted a femicide story so bad that they go along with it. And the Carly Russells know that. Down here, was it in South Florida? One of the stories from a few months ago, maybe even a year ago, where a young lady got into a back and forth with her boyfriend. I think he ended up breaking up with her. Black young woman, if I'm not mistaken. She was so quote unquote distraught. She ran through an intersection on purpose at what, nearly 100 miles an hour, hit an innocent car. I think that one of the children end up, passing. We're hearing more and more of these stories of black women that when they don't get their way, whoever, I'm going to try to harm myself, but whoever's in the way is going to get harmed also. That's because people like you, Mr. Willie D, people like you, Steve Harvey, people like you, Dr. Richie, raised entitled brat daughters that don't know that men can also say no and men can also break off a relationship. Uh-oh. And men can also be tired of your ish. And men can also, shout out to Erykah Badu, tell you to pack your bags. Tell you to go call Tyronisha. And so because you didn't raise your daughters that no is a thing, and that they're not all rainbows and sunshine, because you didn't raise your daughters that way, when a man actually says no and she doesn't know how to handle it, now she want to delete herself, and whoever's in the way will get deleted also. Everyone speaks about men not being able to handle rejection. Can women handle rejection? They don't even approach. You want to know why? Because they can't handle rejection. In the 21st century, in this supposed time of equality, quote unquote equality, they're protecting their ego. This is where Ostefco comes in. This is where ugly girl talk comes in. Not being the pretty girl talk comes in. Right? So now you ladies are attempting to distance yourselves from this story. Tanya TKO, Real Talk with Yanni. And it wouldn't have to be a thing. You wouldn't have to distance yourself from this story if you actually saw black men as human beings and you weren't so damn anti-black male. And if you didn't have an anti-black lens that you were looking at black males through, you wouldn't have to distance yourself if you weren't looking for every stone to overturn, to say black men are monsters. Black men are losers. Black men are shiftless. If you weren't so hell-bent on defecating on black men, you wouldn't have to retract your statements right now. You wouldn't be having to moonwalk right now. You have to moonwalk right now because you were so hell-bent on finding stories about black men being trash, particularly towards black women. Right? Particularly about black. All this time on the interwebs, on social media, all we're hearing from black women is how horrible black men are. Colorist, featurist, texturist, homophobe, transphobe. Right? The white didn't that come back up? Black men are the white supremacists of the black community. I told y'all years ago, Y'all remember the article? Black men are the white racists of the black community. Black men are the white supremacists of the black community. Didn't that come back up with this Miss Rose situation? Now what? Now what? Are any of you going to retract your statements? Of course you're not. Right? Of course you're not. Huh. So if black men are the white supremacists of the black community, and we have story after story after story after story of black women just straight up lying on black men for either money, for support, to garner sympathy, to divert attention from something else they're doing. We have story after story of black girls and women lying on black boys and men, mainly usually to divert attention from something else they're doing. And what Miss Rowe is engaging in is straight up scamming y'all asses. Why not? Why wouldn't she? right? This will continue to happen because you ladies told the world, as long as they can articulate it well enough, and you definitely told black women this, as long as they can articulate it well enough, you'll be willing to pay to hear them express their negative sentiments and emotions about black men, right? There are videos of this lady being a complete terror and menace that she self-recorded. There are videos of her being just a menace to other black women, to black men, to non-black people, just being a utter menace. Loud talking, rambling, accusing everyone of being racist. Y'all cheap. Yo, Mr. Z is not about this. Like, this cheapening of the word racist, and we have all of these wayward black people in the black community that y'all try to use this word every time you try to get out of something, and you cheapen it. White society ain't trying to hear it anyway, and you make it even more difficult by cheapening it, accusing everything of being anti-black, anti-black woman, anti-colorism this, featureism, texturism this. You cheapen it, right? This young lady has video after video after video. She didn't get kicked out of this hotel. She no longer with the Airbnb program because she's a complete terror. A complete terror. She's recording herself being a complete terror. Right? And y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. And KP from KC5 says, KP says, and thank you for the super chat, diversified black male hatred. Oh, of course. Right? Of course. So it's not just a white supremacist thing. It's not just a non-black people thing. It's a everyone except for a handful of black men thing. Because even other brothers, other black men. Yeah, it's a everyone but a select group of black men thing. Maybe one or two random black women, right? That don't have a issue with black men's mere existence, right? Some black men and maybe a handful of black women that don't see black men just existing as hindering their opportunities to integrate with white racist society, right? Diversified male hatred, black male hatred, definitely. And this young lady knew she could get away with it. She was also in another type of situation like this, but she only got $4,000 out the deal last time. I don't think she thought this story would blow up the way it did and would garner her so much support, but then so much attention and eyeballs also. And it was from what we can see so far. Once again, we don't know. It looked like it's going to be her undoing because, as I said, the police are trying to get in contact with her. From what we can see, to no avail, or they're at least trying to get her to report something. And the news media has pretty much the local Houston news media is pushing this story to the back burner. They're distancing themselves, excuse me, from this story. Right? Right. And Bruce on Wayne, thank you for the super chat. And Bruce said, Z, move matin. Man, I'm on the move, bro. You know, keeping my ears to the streets a little bit yesterday or last night, better yet, and saw this and was like, I knew something wasn't right. I didn't know what it was. I can't tell you I knew it was going to unfold like this. First of all, it's still unfolding, so we don't know. I can't tell you I thought this was going to happen because I didn't know. Something about the story wasn't right. Right? And we still don't fully know what's going on. Right? We still don't have the details. But from what we can see, this looks like a cash grab. Right? And as I said, obviously in America, everyone knows that if you could talk crap about black men, if you could give us a convincing enough story about the black boogeyman, people will spend money with you. And so that's always been a thing for white racist society. The dominant society has always known that and has always played on that. There are other non-black folks, quote unquote, people of color that also are in on the deal. Their story is of them lying on black men. But what we can see here is now black women are in on it too. And I say now, obviously, colloquially, I'm just throwing that out there because they've been engaged in this for a very long time also. But as I keep on saying, the internet will expose us all. Or better yet, we will expose ourselves. The internet will expose us all. It didn't take too long for people. Wait a minute. Something's not right. It didn't take too long. Right? So the police can't get in contact with her. Right? And as I said, the reason why we're covering this is to say that it has become extremely evident that even in the black community, talking about black men as if they're monsters is extremely lucrative. Very lucrative. Right? This is literally what white society has been doing since the inception of this country, especially during the Jim Crow era. Fabricate a story of some random black predator, some random black man predator, and use that story to justify everything from making certain drugs illegal to hunting black men, right? Our society knows this. And now black women are playing on this also. Right. And thank you for the super chat, Bruce on Wayne. Batman, thank you. So to everyone who was riding with the young lady, now what? You know what the issue with stuff like this is? People just get to go about like nothing happened. All the people that had all the energy, all the most harsh things to say, and they targeted all of their harshest criticisms towards black men. They just continue like nothing happened. No apologies, and screw the apology. No, I apologize, and the reason why I went at you the way I did is because I believed the women, because I was raised that black men don't stand up for black women, and black men never are looking out for black women. And I had already been primed to say these type of things the second a story like this come out. Dr. Richie, will you say that? Willie D, will you say that? Huh? Will y'all admit that it's pretty damn lucrative to defecate on black men? Even black women do it. Will you admit that you were raised and primed to look at black men as the problem in the black community? Will you admit that you were raised and primed to ignore all the transgressions coming from black women directed towards black men? Will you admit it? Right? Will you admit it? Gold P, let me tell you why I like you, Gold P. Wait a minute, wait a minute. Y'all about to get to a little bit of insight to Mr. Z and his car obsession, right? Gold P, let me ask anyone that know anything about cars. What car was Bobby Brown driving in Thin Line Between Love and Hate? Y'all read Gold P's comment. Let me read Gold P's comment so I can get an idea why I brought this up. And Gold Professor says, and thank you for the super chat, Gold Professor. I think she did it to herself, like girl on the movie A Thin Line Between Love and Hate, right? Not a far reach, is it? No, I don't think it's a far reach. And he says, Gold Professor. What car was Bobby Brown driving in A Thin Line Between Love and Hate? Anybody remember? Y'all remember Martin had the Pathfinder. What was Bobby Brown driving? What car did he have? Now y'all understand why Mr. Z got an obsession with the 300ZX. I've been loving that car. Right? By the way, Gold P, good reference. It wasn't a Mazda Miata, Colby. Hysterical. Right? It was a Nissan 300ZX. Twin turbo, actually. Right? And you know what Mr. Z owns? A Nissan 300ZX. Twin turbo, actually. Right? But yeah, and no, Gold P, it's not a far fetch. It's not far fetched. Not at all. Code breakers, what's going on? 300Z, exactly. A 300Z. Right? See, y'all never know who's listening. That's why that's another reason why I'm careful on what I say and what I cover. Right? So yeah. You see what I'm saying? What's going on, Bruce? Bruce said she threw a brick through my through my Nissan. Oh man, I gotta go back and watch that movie. I haven't watched that movie in over a decade. That was a great movie. No, not the and Dr. Thunder says, and what's going on, Dr. Thunder? Dr. Thunder says a Chrysler 300. Isn't that a full Phantom? No, the Nissan 300ZX. Right. But we're covering this story because, once again, right, it's looking like this young lady lied straight up, made it up, fabricated in her mind, right? Imagination. And forget what non-black people have to say about it. Black people, that's black women and black men, jumped on black men, insulted black men, belittled black men. And now what we're seeing is, right? And once again, no placeholder, thank you for the super sticker. Thank you very much. And Go P, thank you for the super chat. And now what we're seeing is this could have been a straight up lie, all made up, a cash grab. And that's why my title is The Ultimate Cash Grab. The ultimate cash grab is lying on black men, insulting black men, being mean and snarky to black men for some dollars. Talking about how black men don't show up for black women. Talking about black men's colorism, featureism, texturism. It's the ultimate cash grab. Quote unquote, critiquing black men is the ultimate cash grab. Right? Oh, okay. All right, Dr. Thunder. And Dr. Thunder says, I was pulling your leg. I'm pulling your leg. Okay. Yeah. Azriel said, "I'm playing GT7 while I'm listening to you." By the way, look, Azriel, I haven't played GT7 in so long, right? I definitely got to get back into it because if I do another race with Artisan MC this time, he probably is gonna win. He's probably gonna win this time, right? So we covered this story this morning, and shout out to y'all for listening to me. Because of how crucial it is. This is more than just a story. I gotta emphasize this. This exposes how easily, even in the black community, we go along with black men are monster stories, and how dangerous it is, right? We're not talking about outside of black community, in the black community. You know, when they do the test of like, does this person scare you, or what would you do if this person was walking down the street? What do you think should happen to these criminals? Those type of, when they do those type of studies, the black people think a lot like the white people, a little bit better. The only difference is we don't think that person should be hit upside the head with the book. We don't think they should be buried under the prison. That's where the difference come in. But our ideas of, oh, scary black man at night, it tracks along the same as white folks. Obviously not to the same extreme, but that speaks to something. We do live in a white supremacist anti-black society. So guess what that means for black people? Guess what your default is? That's what we talk about being decolonized, a decolonized mind. That's why we frame it in that way. Because the default is the colonized mind. Right. And so when this young lady speaks the way she does, and when she comes up with this story, what's looking like, at least, once again, we don't know yet. We're still gathering evidence. What's looking like a straight up fabricated lie, and the rest of the black communities just jumps on it because we have already been primed to believe that black men are monsters. We have already been primed to believe that black men are these horrible people preying on every innocent black child and black woman. We've been primed to believe that. And when you couple that with heartbroken, bitter, angry black women who's mad about who didn't want them in high school, yes, it's a thing. Mr. Z will never let y'all forget it. When you couple that with bitter, angry black women that's still mad about who didn't want them in high school, or their dating and marriage and mating prospects, they see them as horrendous. You couple anti-black sentiments and a colonized mind with bitterness about how you look, and there you go. Right? And you get this story, and how many black people willing to jump to this lady's defense, not knowing she didn't need to be defended, because what it's looking like is it's a whole lie. Right? It's a whole lie. Up, code breakers don't. Right? I don't know if this is Paradox or DC, but don't get me started on the whole super predators thing and how many black politicians were with it. How many black politicians were with it? Because your nephew sag his pants a little too much, or he be smoking weed in your sister's house, and so you were willing to throw him in prison for a couple decades off the respectability politics. God damn. Right? So this young lady just exposed the black community for being what it is. expose black women for being who they are. Okay, what's going on, Paradox? Right? Yeah. We're so desirous to hear a story of black men not stepping up for black women, black men being the super predators, black men harming black women, that this lady potentially, once again, potentially, allegedly, came up with this story and got $40,000 out of the black community and got a whole bunch of black men and black women talking about how black men don't show up for black women. And now that we see it's potentially a lie, now what? I'm looking to see who's going to start retracting their statement and, more importantly, apologize. And here's the important: I don't want no surface level apology. Apologize and then say why you're apologizing, because we piled on to black men and we should know better, especially you black men. Dr. Richie, Willie D, what now? Huh? These people always get to go on and nothing, and all you do is just add another straw on that camel's back about black. You want to know how we get to super predator? How many of our aunts and uncles in the late 80s, because nobody paid attention to, once again, y'all say it, now y'all say it, no more home ec in the schools, downturn in the economy, the boomer window was damn near, it didn't close all the way, but it started to close for Xers. That boomer opportunity window for black folks, because America trying to prove that it's not racist. Now that the fall of the Soviet Union, now the U.S. is like, hey, shit, we run everything now. We don't got to pretend like we're not as racist as we actually are. Right? You want to know how we get to super predator? And because the black community doesn't learn, 30 years later, following down the same track. Now y'all asking for another one of these type of leaders, authoritarian leaders. Y'all looking for another Giuliani. Right? Y'all looking for another Bill Clinton. Another younger Joe Biden. Another Hillary Clinton. So in 30 years, your daughters could be complaining just like y'all. All the men got locked up and they're gay. And just like our sisters and aunts and mothers now, 30 years from now, they're going to be saying the same thing because y'all ain't learned. Right? And all this young lady did was expose that. Instead of that's what I love about the reparations conversation, is watching how many people are not having the reparations conversation. Why they complain about wayward black men? Because your individual black boy and black man is supposed to make up for, I don't know, centuries of anti-blackness in America by going to school for STEM. Go to school for STEM so you can make up for centuries of anti-blackness and put this black woman who still don't like your ass in a big house in a nice neighborhood driving a luxury car. And if you don't do that, then we'll fund these lying ass black women who's gonna lie about black men. First, black men standing around and black men abusing them. Right? What I love about the conversation about reparations, about money, about financing the black community, right? About black businesses, about black LLCs, about the gig economy, is watching black people pretty much look at black men like, yeah, so how are you going to make up for the fact that this country's so goddamn anti-black and it keeps its foot on your neck? On your neck in particular, black man. Oh, yeah, I know every other man in human history, definitely in American history, let's say American history, got a leg up, because the US government gave them the leg up. Every single man in American history. But dear black man, you ain't gonna have that, so what you gonna do about it? Uh-oh. And if you don't do something about it that we like, then we'll just endorse these type of women who's either a black immigrant or the child of a black immigrant and watch her first lie on you, then defecate on your image saying you didn't do anything about, the fact that she made the story up in the first place and said she got hit in the face with a brick, allegedly. And then the other black men stood around and did nothing. So first she's calling you a predator and an attacker. Then she's saying the rest of you are cowards and didn't do anything. And dear black men, what are you going to do about it? As we're saying here, don't expect anyone. These people are going to apologize to their subscribers. They're going to apologize to their subscribers. They're not going to apologize to black men writ large about being so desirous to see black men in a horrible light that they go along with every story, particularly coming from other black women that insult or belittle or show black men in some unflattering light. They won't apologize to black men. Look, I've been wanting so bad to show you in a negative way that I just try to cover all of these stories, and this one got past me. I should have did my due diligence, or I threw it out there too early, and I already started calling you scum of the universe, scum of the earth. And then when I did my due diligence, and now I realize, oh crap, she made it up. So I'm still not going to apologize to you, black men. I'll apologize to my subscribers by giving them a false story initially. Oh, never mind the fact that like 85, 90, 95 of my subscribers are black women. And if we couple black women and LGBTQ black men, yeah, like 95%, 90%. And that's my point exactly, Tro. An apology will undermine the prevailing narrative. Exactly. And that's all I'm saying. And Paradox from Codebreaker says, I was thinking it, and you mentioned it a few months ago. We are being primed to lock black boys and men up again. Defund police, show all the crime online, and then beg to lock us up. That's all. That's all. That's exactly what I'm saying, Paradox. That's exactly what I'm saying. And that's why I'm careful with respectability politics. That's why I'm real careful with respectability. A bunch of Negroes get mad that maybe one or two young people running up in stores and stealing stuff. I don't even know why y'all are so damn upset about that. It's real. It's real. But the fact that you're so upset speaks to like, they shouldn't be doing that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. They ain't knocking people over the head. They running in luxury goods stores, the things that we told them that we judged them by. The ability to acquire these things, what we told them we judged them by, they're running up in the stores and stealing it and running out. And the problem for black community, other than the fact that it's embarrassing, is what now? Oh, you want to lock your sins up for stealing what, $2,000 handbags? You want to now? You just don't want to lock them up. You want to throw them under the jail for what, embarrassing you? Because you didn't fight for your sons to have better opportunities? You too busy blowing smoke up your daughter's ass? So now that your sons are embarrassing you, by running up in stores and grabbing $2,000 and $3,000 luxury goods. Now you want to throw them under the prison like you didn't learn your lesson from 30 years ago? We're not even talking about half a century ago. We're not talking about a century ago. We're saying 30 years ago. Exactly, and Indigo Flow says Beauty and the Beast, and guess who's the beast? And because you refuse to acknowledge that your daughters, and not just the hood and ghetto ones, see, you'll maybe throw them under the bus, maybe. But yes, your Kim Fosters too, your Ebony. It was fascinating watching these people contort themselves in all type of ways, instead of saying Ebony is another cute, spoiled brat sister that then aged out the game because ain't nobody trying to deal with her crazy ass. Instead of y'all saying that, even Jason Black didn't have the balls to say it. Oops. Go back and listen to his stream, cover it again. See if he really disagreed with her or he disagreed with her delivery. Go back. He says something very pivotal that show you I kind of agree with her. She maybe shouldn't have said it the way she said it though. Now what? Right? So on that note, everyone, Mr. Z got stuff to do. Y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Um, thank you button. Um, yeah. Look, I covered this because protecting black men's image, right? Shout out to Medium Man. Um, not only is it a lot of work, you're gonna find how much lies and hypocrisy and lying by omission and not telling the full story has been done on to and about black men from everyone in this society, including black women. Including black women. And what's frightening is, yes, black women, it is your job to protect us. Yeah, I said it. Oh, goddamn, Z, you said that. Yeah, I did. It is our job to protect you, black women. You are absolutely right. You are 100% right when you say that. And it is to your job to protect black men, their image, and protect them. Yeah, you heard right. I'm not telling you to jump in front of a bullet. That's not what Mr. Z is saying. I'm saying protecting black men's image is protecting black men. And that's your job too. Because what you think is that you cannot protect black men's image, protect black women's image, and somehow that's going to benefit you. 50 years later, how's that been working? Oh, yeah, black women, it's your job. Oh, yeah. Yep. And all of this, the girl who cried wolf stories, only cheapens every time you actually accuse a black man of something and he might have actually did it. So, no, I will not allow all of these content creators that helped to create this environment, that seeded the ground for this to be a thing. I'm not going to let them get off. So, shout out to you, Yanni, for admitting that you might have to take a public L for this. So, I got to shout you out for that. But you helped to create the environment for this to be a thing anyway. We should have never lived in the world where black women think that she could make up fabricate a complete lie that a black man harmed her and then that other black men stood by and watched. Black women should be getting her together, but you won't. Too mad at black men. So you're going to let her slide, and it's going to cheapen if it actually does happen in the future. And yeah, y'all exposing yourselves to white folks. That's the only thing you actually care about. You actually don't care about the fact that you just defecated on black men's name for no reason. Y'all don't care about that. But what y'all do care about is the embarrassment of white folks looking and saying, oh, okay, black women be lying on black men too. Okay. Note taken. Right? Duly noted. So yeah, black women, it is your job to protect the image of black men and to protect your black sons. Really hard to do that when you're so mad at your baby daddy though, at your ex-husband, at your ex-boyfriend. Uh-oh. Right. So on that note, everyone, we'll pause right here. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all have a great, great, great rest of y'all day. Right. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content. Dr. Thunder is probably streaming right now, or he's about to. So y'all go check him out. And yeah, we'll pause right here. We'll keep our ears to the streets to see how this Trail said Keisha and the Wolf. Right? Trail gotta be the funniest person in the comments. We're gonna keep our ears to the streets and try to cover this and see how much we glean from this story, but it's not looking good. Um, dear black women, dear black content creators, everyone from the Crystalline Kerosins to the Chrissies, right, to the Yannies, to the Shira Sevens, to the Lexus Exodus, to the Mahogany Pinks. I know Mahogany Pink hasn't put out anything in over a year still, right? All of you, the divested, all of you, you helped to create this person. And on the surface, it looks like, okay, so what? Okay, it was a lie. So what? Black men deal with it. All right, black women, you keep on thinking you're not attached to black men by the hip. Keep thinking it. Right? Even if you want to be super selfish and it's not about black men, guess what? It's still about black men. There is no black woman uplift without black men. Y'all been trying for 50 years. How's that working? Right? So on that note, y'all have a great rest of your day. Like I said, go check out other Black Manosphere content. For the love of God, go check out other non-Manosphere content. So y'all don't sound like these people making up stories about. So we're gonna start making up stories about black women being predators on black men. So somebody get like a frozen steak and start hitting themselves in the face with it, right? Like Gold P said, right? Get a small sandbag, put some beat sand in a little plastic bag, start beating yourself in the face with it, and then claim you got jumped by a bunch of black women, right? That's what we're gonna start doing in the in the black manosphere. Start lying on black women, saying we getting attacked by black women, right? So on that note, we'll pause right here. Y'all have a great, great, great rest of y'all day. Mr. Z out.